I'm really shocked, Tammy, maybe not by the names themselves, but that they came out so quickly and so vocally with their expressions of doubt.
Well, I'm not surprised at all. Look, the establishment, never Trumper kind of dynamic, it's not gone away. They're still there. They're not suddenly going to embrace Donald Trump. I think this remains, is what we're going to see for the next 4 years, is an adjustment in expectations and in the nature of understanding of who's in charge. And you've got an establishment that's been in charge forever. And it's not going to be easy for them to recognize that things have, in fact, changed. And this is what the voters wanted. They wanted a man who was different, appointing people who had some experience, but not within the swamp, enough people who knew and understand Washington, D.C. as well. And this, of course, is not surprising. We elected Donald Trump because he's a businessman. He knows how to get things done. And in Mr. Tillerson, you're looking at the same dynamic. A man who understands the international scene, is in 50 countries, gets things done. And look, I don't know when it became a bad thing to know a foreign leader, to maybe even like the foreign leaders, and to be able to get things done on behalf of the United States.
I don't know. Eboni, listen, I feel the same way. But there's been a really surprisingly vocal opposition to this, and apparently there was some scuttlebutt even with the Wikipedia page being scrubbed, the Russian Medal of Freedom or whatever it was that Rex Tillerson won. What is it about that bothers these guys so much that he knows and he's actually successfully done business with in Russia and other parts of the world?
I can tell you exactly what it is, Charles. Now, personally, I'm never mad at anyone that knows how to broker a good deal. I think that's a good thing for a Secretary of State to be capable of. But to your concern, or to your question, and my concern and that of Rubio and some others, personal relationships, right? There's such a thing as knowing the playmakers. That's good. But when you have a more personal relationship, you and I have a relationship as colleagues on this network. If I go get another job, Charles, our relationship is still intact. I don't now have a new relationship with you just because my role changes. And I think that's the concern people have around Mr. Tillerson. You know, at some point, he obviously is an ally.
But he would never put Russia/Putin's concerns ahead of America's.
I don't know that people know that. And I think,
really?
I think that's what's going to be flushed out in the Senate confirmation hearings.
Erickson, where are you on this? Because it's interesting, Jennifer Rubin, I think she's a Republican, at least she was before the election started, called it an ethical pig pen.
You know, listen, Rex Tillerson is the CEO of one of the top 2 most profitable companies in the world. He's got a friendship with Vladimir Putin. I think that does need to be explored in light of Russia did try to subvert our elections in some way. But at the same time, remember Donald Trump reached out to the Taiwanese president. If he's trying to destabilize the growing Chinese-Russian relationship, and there is one as China walks away from us, having a friend of Vladimir Putin in the Secretary of State's office might actually not be a bad thing. I think it's something that's got to be explored. There's no question the guy is qualified, more qualified than the past Secretary of State.
I'm still trying to understand, though, Eric, once that is explored, and believe me, obviously, they're setting up a real Donnybrook here of sorts. What exactly are they looking for? What exactly are they afraid of with respect to Vladimir Putin and Rex Tillerson?
Right. It comes down to Ukraine. Rex Tillerson negotiated a big oil deal between Exxon and Russia right before we imposed sanctions on Russia for invading Ukraine and Crimea. At the time, Tillerson was very, very vocal about not liking the sanctions and being opposed to the sanctions. And you've got 3 big proponents of those sanctions over the invasion of Crimea, McCain, Graham, and Rubio, expressing their concerns. I suspect that has more to do with it. But on the left, I don't think they're being honest with their concerns about Tillerson. I think the biggest concerns from the left aren't actually Russia, but global warming. He's been a big critic of climate change, and they can't come out and say that. It sounds like crazy talk, but at the same time, I think that's probably a bigger concern for the left.
One other